Okay, so we have agreed that you can either have blood group A positive or A negative. I said the positive comes because it means that you have blood group A with a D antigen, or you have the rhesus factor. That's the person who is A positive, for example. And then a person who is A negative means that they have blood group A but without a rhesus factor or the D antigen. So when one has got less blood than necessary, blood transfusion is carried out. So we know that how many liters of blood do you think a normal? Of course, by the amount the amount of blood in a man and a woman are different. So how who do you think has more blood on a woman and a man? Just type there for me. Who do you think has more blood between a man and a woman? Joshua says man. I wish you attach an answer. I mean a reason. Woman. Jacob says woman. Kandinda says woman. Why woman? Kirabo Melissa, why woman? Man, just nature. Rina says just nature. Okay, but then usually women have more blood than men. Woman cause man oversweats. No. So usually a woman has more blood as compared to a man. Man doesn't lose any blood anywhere. Yeah. Okay. So but a woman must always have more blood than a man. That's the way it is. So usually, of course, when the concentration or the level of blood in a human being goes below the normal, then such a person must receive blood. So usually when you go to the health center, they tell you, no, you don't have blood. That does it mean of course they say that you don't have blood in the normal setting. They say no, this person is not having blood. But ideally, when you don't have blood, you can't live. So the whole thing shall be that the blood concentration is below the required. That's what it means. But you don't have blood as in it is. So they just mean that your blood concentration has gone below the required. So usually when the blood concentration goes below the required, usually there is blood transfusion. People asking the question is why is it that women have more blood than men? Now, usually women are more advanced than men biologically. You realize that even their blood pressure levels are different from the ones for humans. I mean, for man. So usually a woman, that's why even I don't know. I think that's why even their lifespan is a bit higher than the one for a man, because a woman is more advanced biologically than a man. But besides also attaching reasons like women often lose blood through menstruation, but usually that is just a very small reason. So if women delay to die, no, I was meaning they have a longer lifespan, excuse me, than a man. So that's the way it is. So usually, when blood concentration goes below normal, it must have blood transfusion take place. And the one who gives blood to the patient is called the donor. The one who is giving, let's say between let's say I'll use the names of people here in the chat so that I can easily share. Let's say Joshua Daniel is giving blood to Angel. Okay. Now, if it is Joshua Daniel giving blood to Angel, then Joshua shall be the donor. Okay. Then Angel that is receiving is called the recipient. Does it require money to donate? No. Excuse me. When you're donating blood, they don't require money to donate. Usually the Red Cross people are always coming to schools and visiting areas where you can do the donation for free. And also when you be donating blood, one, you save life, but also one time when you fall sick and you also need blood, you'll find it easier if, and more so when you make, and there are a number of donations you make and then you get a particular card. When you get that card, you can easily get blood from any hospital. So it is very good to donate blood. So the one donating, the one giving the blood is the donor, and then the one who is receiving the blood is the recipient. Then doctors have to match the blood of the donor to that of the recipient. Because when incompatibles, blood is mixed, the red blood cells stick together or agglutinate. Now we have here a new word, agglutinate and incompatibles. Now, like we said, usually say that for one person to get, not everyone can give any other blood, though we are all human beings. But there is a particular procedure we follow to give blood to others. Usually for a person to give blood, you must be having same blood groups. Usually that is the first case. So meaning it is the first thing is a person who is blood group A should give to another person who is blood group A. Okay, that's the first case. Like the blood must be the same. Blood group O can give to a person who is blood group O. Blood group AB should be able to give the person who is blood group AB. Okay, in other words, you should share, like A gives to A, B gives to B, like that. Then we shall bring in aspects where a person can receive blood from different groups, and we shall understand why. So in the case where the blood, where someone, let's say blood group A, then he goes and gives the person of blood group B, they shall have what we call agglutination. Why? Because the blood is not compatible, like they are not the same. So in case you've shared blood there, the red blood cells shall become solid, or they shall become like, you see when you keep milk in the fridge and then it becomes solid. That's what shall happen to the red blood cells. And in that case, I said blood has agglutinated or blood has clotted. And whereby we know that when blood clots in a particular vessel, we usually call that a blood clot. And usually that one leads to death. So to avoid such cases, that's why doctors must first match the blood, so that this person who needs blood is blood group A. They should also look for a person for blood which was kept and is also for blood group A. You'll often find that when you go for blood donation, they won't just mix the blood. They won't. So that's why it is necessary for the checking of blood groups. And then agglutination is caused by the presence of proteins called antigens on the surface of cells being mixed with specific antibodies which work against them. Now, we have got here another word, antigens. Now, antigens, like, I don't know, I'll simply ask you this question. There are times when someone can be, okay, I will try to follow the charts. How is that blood stored and preserved? So we are going to talk about all this. So I was simply asking this question. You've ever been there and you have a headache, for example, serious headache. And then, of course, you get a painkiller. And then you saw the painkiller and it goes to the stomach. Can you imagine? So it's the head paining, but you saw the painkiller, it goes to the stomach. And suddenly after some minutes, the headache heals. What do you think will make the headache heal? When instead of you giving when the tablets left the head, the mouth, and went to the stomach. And yet after you taking the medicine, it healed the headache. What do you think happens? What is the logic behind? Let me see it in the chart. It lacks the antigens that can be attacked. Okay. So people are not responding to me here. Irina, just type it. So usually the reason as to why you can have a headache and you swallow the tablets and they go to the stomach, but after some time the headache heals, is because each cell has what we call antigens. Antigens what they are like cell tags or identifiers. So when a cell has each cell has its own antigens that help identify it. So for example, if the cells in the head, the ones which are presenting the headache or the pain. So if the cells of the head are the ones presenting the pain, then shall be only those cells presenting the pain antigen. Therefore, when you swallow the Panadol, it shall straight away go to that particular cell which has the pain antigen. So it shall be the antigen. So these tablets, after you swallowing, they shall move straight to that cell because it has the antigen, or it has an identifier that shows that it is causing pain. So each cell has antigens, and these antigens are the ones which are, we say they are cell identifiers, okay? So if an antigen has A, okay, meaning if A doesn't come, then meaning if A comes, it shall be the one to be identified. But if B comes, then B shall be seen as a foreign body or antibody. Okay? So if it is seen as an antibody, then it shall cause agglutination or clotting of blood. So that's why I said antigen is simply a cell identifier. So let's say our cell has the antigen A. It means that the only blood which shall be accepted there shall be blood also which is A. But in case B comes, then it shall be seen as a foreign body. Therefore, it shall cause clotting. So blood groups are determined by the type of antigens one has in blood. I've already explained the meaning of antigen. Let me check the chart here. Blood helps in transport of medicines. I think the red blood cells transport the tabs. Okay. Also, people are answering my question, but I hope I've explained it very well. Due to active transport, the blood digests the medicine into the bloodstream. Okay, these are very good ideas. The virus is in the blood. Don't text nonsense, straight reason and your introduction. Okay. Excuse me. Sir, according to my research, men typically have a higher volume of blood than women. A kindly correction. Okay. I hope you can share it here. Share it here with the source. Hopefully. But also many other reasons setting or other factors. So we shall continue. So this means that one having antigen A belongs to blood group A. So that's what I've said. If someone has antigen A, then they belong to blood group A. So those with antigen B belong to blood group B. And those with antigen A and B belong to blood group AB. While those without antigens belong to blood group O. Each blood produces particular antibodies which work. Patrick, just type it. I will open the discussion later on. Okay, Patrick, just type what you want. So if someone has no antigens at all, then we shall say they have blood group O. Excuse me. Each blood produces particular antibodies which work against particular antigens when introduced into the body. For example, blood group A produces antibody B. This means that blood group A is anti or against blood group containing antigen B. And this is what I explained. I said, if blood presents, if the cell or if blood has blood group, has antigen A, then it means that any blood that comes that is not having A shall be seen as a foreign body. So meaning, antigen A produces antibody B, meaning in case blood group B comes, it shall obviously agglutinate or cause agglutination. Okay. Antibodies are represented by small letters, while antigens are represented by capital letters. Before doctors can carry out transfusion, they carry out tests to make sure that the patient's and donor's blood are compatible. So we shall have here, we shall go through here, this table. Okay. Joshua has given us some information here, but he didn't give us the source. I hope he used the AI, but this must be right. It is around 5.5 liters. It must be around 5.5 liters. Okay. I was checking here through the chat box to see any. Patrick, I don't know why you're raising up the hand. So let's go through here the blood group. So if someone has blood group A, they have antigen A and antibody B. And then if someone has blood group B, they have antigen B and antibody A. If someone has blood group AB, then they have antigen A and B. And therefore, the antibody is none. If someone has blood group O, they have no antigens, but they have antibody A and B. So what's the implication? Remember I told you that these antigens are just occurring on the red blood cells. We should simply understand it like this. This one is, let's just take this like as a family. Let's just take it as a family, for example. So let's say this is just like, let's assume it is a particular school. Should we use a school? Okay, it's okay. Let's use a school. Let's say this is school A. This school A puts on uniform blue, okay? Which is the antigen, like which identifies them, okay? So meaning whoever, they don't allow in any other color other than blue. So in other words, so meaning they don't want any other color other than blue. And then let's say for blood group B, this is school B, and they put on red. So they do not want any other color other than red. Meaning if blue comes here, then they will be sent away because they don't be students of that school. But for blood group AB, this is a school which puts on, let's say, blue and red. Okay? So meaning these ones, they don't have any antibodies. Whether someone comes and putting on blue, they'll allow. Someone comes putting on red, they'll allow. But for O, these ones don't put on any uniform. Okay? They don't put on any uniform. So we would simply take it like that. But the main thing to note here is the antigen, because the antigen is just like a cell marker or identifier. That's why I use the uniform. I'll check the chart. Okay. So let's go through the blood transfusion process now. So blood transfusion is the process of transferring donated blood to another person. The one who gives blood to a patient is called a donor. I think I already talked about that. And the one receiving is known as a recipient. Before doctors can carry out transfusion, they carry out tests to make sure that the patient's and donor's blood are compatible. I explain the meaning of compatibility. The recipient's blood must not contain antibodies that act on the antigens in the donor's blood. That's what it means. For example, antigen A would agglutinate if mixed with blood containing antibody A, i.e.,